Hi, this is Keely Raven, and I'm coming to you from my home office in St. Louis, Missouri. Have you thought about teaching for VIPKID and wondered about what your classroom should look like or could look like? Well, in this video, I'm just going to share with you what I found works for me. I mentioned I am Keely Raven. My students know me as Teacher Keely, and I'm in my home, which is pretty cool. So I'm able to do this from my home, and this is what was already my home office, because I've been working from home since like 2008. So I had a home office. It is now the family office. So in this room, I have my desk, my husband's desk, and my daughter's desk. My daughter just turned 6, so she has a little person's desk. But I'm going to show you what has worked for me, and maybe that can help you develop your own VIPKID classroom. So right now you can see a little bit more than my students see. The angle is a bit tighter when I'm teaching them, and that's because I use my iMac when I'm teaching. And right now I'm using my phone so I can make it portable. Sometimes I'll use a Chromebook when I teach. That's usually when I travel, or if there's some problem. Like if there's a problem, I need another machine, I grab the Chromebook. I can't think of a time that that's happened, but I would if in case of emergency. But anyway, it's great to travel because it's so light and it packs up really, really easily. But anyway, so if you could just imagine the screen a little bit narrower, you would see just to about here, and you wouldn't quite catch all that bookshelf. But anyway, this is what my students see. This backdrop is an easel stolen from my daughter. Borrowed. We'll call it borrowed. But anyway, this is an easel. Many teachers I've noticed have an actual wall behind them, and I didn't have that option. When I walk around, you might be able to notice that my office has a lot of mirrors in it. Actually, when we bought this house, we called this room the dance studio. And we didn't want to take the mirrors out. We like them. But it would be weird to have a mirror as my background trying to teach children. Strange. So instead, my desk also was already in this orientation, and to move it would have been a hassle. So I put a background behind me. It is this easel. This side is a blackboard. The other side is a whiteboard. And I initially tried using the whiteboard, but the glare from my lighting was really bad, so that was not effective at all. And I actually like the blackboard, and I haven't seen anybody else using a blackboard, so I think it's kind of fun, a little bit old school. It works for me. On this blackboard, I have at the top, these are just letters. In some classes you teach letters, like the first levels, you teach letters. So that's handy. I got this at Dollar Tree. It actually had all the letters, but this is what would fit here. I printed out a map of the United States because that's where I live, and sometimes the kids are really curious. Well, usually the kids are really curious about you. Oh, look, a star. They're really curious about you and things about you, so they might ask, "Teacher, where are you from?" And I can just grab that and say, "Oh, here, I am from St. Louis, Missouri. This is Missouri." And show them, and then I can just stick it back on here. It's stuck here with tape, so it's pretty simple. This I wrote Teacher Keely on so I can introduce myself to students, and they have a visual. It's bright, and I think it's kind of exciting. Also got this at Dollar Tree. This is a whiteboard. This is kind of an essential. I mean, I don't know any VIPKID teacher that does not have a whiteboard. You can write so many different things on here. It's also something you can stick magnets to, so it's very, very helpful. I also have a chalkboard. I mentioned I kind of like it old school. It's just a nice option to have. There's a grid on the back, borrowed from my daughter. The whiteboard was mine, though. And then I keep chalk and markers on the easel. There's also a paintbrush because it is an easel. And there's paper behind here, should I want to become Picasso and paint during class, but really that's more for my daughter when she wants to use her easel. But there are classes where you talk about painting, and so this is handy. I think that's basically everything that's right behind me, so I'm going to turn the camera around, and we're gonna start moving around a little bit. So bear with me a moment. Okay, so here is the view of my family office as you walk in. This part I don't really use. That's my daughter's desk area, my husband's desk area. And then if I turn this way, you can kind of see my desk area. So this is my chair. I love my chair. It's super comfortable. My husband bought it for me. I think he got it from Office Depot. I'll try to link that below. But if you take a look, this is how my area looks. So I mentioned I use my iMac for my classes. It sits on my computer. If we look to the right, you know, sometimes I'll diffuse oils while I teach, which is really nice. It smells really good and can break up congestion if that's an issue, but it adds to nice ambiance. That's my tablet. I use that sometimes during class, particularly for the upper levels. It's a great thing to show what you're talking about on. Things like unicorn. I don't have one of those. My daughter doesn't even have a unicorn stuffed animal, but I can find one on the tablet. And actually, unibrow might be a better example because I don't have one of those either, but I could find an example on the tablet. Obviously, we were talking about prefixes earlier today. And then I just use my Apple headphones when I teach so they stay on the desk. If I go a little bit to the right, you can see some photos. And in these photos, the kids like to see their teacher, and we've been talking a lot about India in some of my units, so we talk about snakes, and actually I was in India, and that's me with a snake, and some kids, you know, they think it's cool, or they think, oh my gosh, wow, that's crazy. Also, I rode an elephant in India, so they can see teacher Keely on an elephant. One of the rewards for level 1 is for the kids to put together the Taj Mahal. So I can show them a picture of their teacher in front of the Taj Mahal. We've also talked about horses, and that's me on a horse. This is from like high school. It doesn't matter. They just like to see their teacher. You can't even really tell it's a horse all the way. But it's fun to show them pictures from your life. And then you might see what looks like junk over here. Actually, these are stars, and they have tape on the back because when my students get star rewards, I show them the star all up close, and then I stick it here on the blackboard. So that's some of the stuff that you see, and then you can see that's my background. If I move the chair out, some of it may look like junk, but really it's organized. So under my desk, I keep a basket, a bin, and actually I'm going to turn on the overhead light so you can see the difference. That's a helpful light to have, and I'll turn on the other light in a minute, but you can see in here, these are some of my stuffed animals. I say my, stolen from my daughter, but I use this dog quite a lot. It's a dog puppet. I use the lion a lot. The lion just comes up in a lot of lessons. I use a rabbit kind of a lot. We talk about rabbits being fast, especially faster than turtles, with the sound. So we use rabbits. I use this cat kind of frequently. I don't remember if it's Garfield or Heathcliff, but I use the cat. And elephants come up a lot. I know I just showed you a picture of me on an elephant, but I also have stuffed elephants that we use as well. So then you can see that's just right under my desk. Also under my desk, sort of in arm's reach, on top of a printer, I keep a monkey. And I have this monkey here stolen from my daughter because one of the reward systems is for monkey to get a banana, and this monkey has a banana. I also keep flowers under here because we talk about smell, and sometimes we talk about flowers, and this is actually the bouquet my daughter held in my sister's wedding when she was a flower girl. And then I also keep a house under here. It's a little crafty project my sister worked on. Some of the rocks you can see are now inside the house. But anyway, we talk a lot about homes, and having that house has been super, super helpful. This is a little reminder from my sister about me, and it's kind of cool.
You are a badass.
Fun, right? So there's that, and then I have my daughter's picture on my desk, and Bluetooth headset, should I want that. This binder actually is really important for VIPKid. You don't really have to lesson plan, but what I like to do is note which lessons I've taught And I will, like, this is organized, if you can tell. Levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is back there. I also teach level 7, but I don't use the same organization for 7. But, you know, I might just say, what's the reward? What music maybe I want to have in the background? What props I might use? And then up here, I note when's the goodbye slide, so I can sort of keep track of my pacing. If there's a goodbye song, that happens in levels 1 and 2. And then I also note over here anything that takes a long time. So I know if I'm getting to a slide that takes a while, I might need to go a little bit faster so I can have more time on that slide. So this binder lives on my desk, and it's not something that you have to do. You know, if you happen to decide you'd like for me to be a referring teacher, then I'll just give you access to all of this because I'm putting all of this in Google Docs. I like the binder. I've mentioned being a bit old school sometimes, but I like having the binder because I can put my hands on it and I don't have to wait for anything to load. I can just flip right to where I want to go. But I can pass this on to you in the form of Google Docs so you can have access. And, you know, if I'm traveling, I don't want to take this binder with me. I can use Google Docs there. It makes things a lot easier. And then also sort of within reach, I have a self-care section, totally advertising for the Magic House, but this is a great container for my water. You always want to have water nearby. You might need a nail file. I hate to break a nail, and it bothers me if I can't fix it. So nail file, I have, you know, lip balm and Altoids. I mean, it's morning. And some hand lotion. No one likes cracked hands. And then I also have some additional like family pictures because sometimes we talk about family with VIP Kid classes. Under here, you'll notice I have an airplane. I use this airplane a whole lot, especially with level 1 kids because we travel all around in level 1. I have a car because we talk about transportation, and cars come up a lot with sounds. And then I have some numbers and counting flashcards. Those are all within my reach. And I mentioned this is just it's my desk. So I have snacks, don't judge, but it's morning and people get hungry, especially me. So I have snacks in there, but just all my normal desk supplies. And then it's a desk, so there's books and stuff. And then there's this light, which is pretty awesome. I'm gonna stand up and turn, and I'll show you, when you turn this light on, it really brightens up the room. So that's really nice while I'm sitting with my students. I start teaching sometimes at 4, and it's dark at 4. So it's nice to have a bright light to make it look more like daytime, both for them and for me. Okay, so I'm back at the desk. And you might have noticed, I forgot to point it out, but there's masking tape on my desk, and that's because I use stars often, and I just tape the back because this is a chalkboard. I also have these fireworks that I just sort of printed off and cut out. Sometimes we talk about occasions where you'd have fireworks, and that can be a reward. So these have tape on the back as well. And if something falls down because tape isn't perfect, you can just quickly tape it back up there. But yeah, that's why I have masking tape readily available. And sometimes when you're in the class early, you know, I don't really like to be stared at just while I'm in the class. So I will cover my camera lens with masking tape because it's really quick. I just take it off and stick it on my computer, and that makes it easy. I think that's everything that I need to talk about. I'm just looking around. I might have mentioned, I'm not sure, but I have tissues back behind me because they're easy to reach. You never know when you might need one of those. And it's kind of a big box. I didn't want it to take up space on my desk. But I think that's it. So I have to say, I really enjoy my time with students. I always have. I'm a teacher at heart. I've been teaching for many, many years, and I was missing my student interaction. So it was really cool to come across VIP Kid. And I'm definitely happy to help anybody else that's looking for a cool opportunity to teach children, to interact with kids of another culture. I found that, you know, I'm very interested in what's happening in Chinese culture. I've met some amazing kids and families, and, you know, if you are looking for some help with your VIP Kid application, there's a link below. You can enter my details as your referring teacher. Even if you have already applied, there's a little bit of time to still choose a referring teacher, and I would be delighted to help you. In the meantime, please remember to subscribe. I will be providing more videos, more information on the cool stuff that is happening with VIPKID, ways to help you get hired, information on props and reward systems and different levels of certification, all kinds of stuff. I am in my second contract with them at this point, so I've learned quite a bit, and I'm definitely willing to share. So again, if you liked the video, like it. If you loved it, leave a comment and subscribe. Make sure you click that bell so that you get notified when I release new videos. Thank you so much. This is Keely Raven, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.